how long it takes to learn Korean? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Inyoung. If you're new here, I post videos about Korean language and culture every single week. If that interests you, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I frequently get asked these questions. How long does it take to learn Korean? I'm gonna try my best to answer this question, but I cannot give you a definite answer. Here is why. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about 6 different factors that determines how fast you can learn Korean. And I'm gonna present to you some tips and strategies you can actually apply to this learning. So let's get started. So the first factor I'm gonna talk about in this video is, do you know your goal? Is your goal is just having brief conversation or introducing yourself? Those kind of simple phrases. But I don't think you're learning Korean because you just want to say a few phrases. You actually want to have some communication with Korean or somebody who speaks Korean. Even when you have the ability to speak Korean, do you want to achieve it as an intermediate level or very advanced level? So, do you understand what your goal is? If you don't, that's okay. Start today and write it down what your goal might be. Do you want to just sing along K-pop lyrics? Or you just want to pick up some words here and there from watching K-dramas or movies? Or when you visit South Korea, you just want to order your favorite food or buy cosmetic items. That's why be clear with your goal and what kind of level you want to achieve. And how long can you be dedicated to learn Korean? Maybe you want to get some result after a year pass by. So maybe set a goal for that year. And I encourage you to break it down to monthly and also weekly. So if you actually break it down, you're gonna have better understanding whether you can actually achieve for that year or not. If you're not sure about what your goal is, if you're not sure why you're learning Korean, it's gonna be very hard even for me to answer your question. On the side note, if you wanna have some plans for weekly, monthly, and yearly, please journal it and see how well you're progressing. Don't think in your head because your pen is sharper than your mind. Second factor is how much time can you allocate? If you have a really busy lifestyle, maybe you can only spare a few hours a week, that's fine. Just start with what you have. You don't have to be stressed out about, oh, I have to make 5 hours or 10 hours when you only have 1 or 2 hours a week. Just start with what you have and break it into smaller pieces. So that's gonna be related to number 3 factor, frequency. I know that how long you're studying and frequency are both important. But if I have to choose one or the other, I would pick number 3. Let's say you can actually spend 10 hours a day and just cram the hell out of it for learning Korean. And next 10 days, you just stop learning Korean. Versus, if you can allocate, let's say 1 hour a day, next 10 days, it's equal to the same hours that I talked about the first person. I much prefer for somebody who studied smaller amount of time every day than just cramming one day. That's why we know for a fact that being in school, when you cram something and you may be able to pass one exam and next day or a week goes by, you just forget about everything that you studied for. But this learning language is not about cramming. So you have to have some kind of habits and consistency. When you can make frequency higher rather than how much time you can study, you're gonna build some momentum. Those momentum will carry over how long you can study as well. So in order to build frequency, I encourage you to really think about how much time you can allocate weekly and break it into daily habits. And factor 4, And this is the environment. If you live in South Korea already, that is fantastic news because you're always gonna be seeing Korean language and listening Korean even when you don't want to. You're constantly immersed with Korean language and culture. You end up thinking about Korean way more than somebody who lives in somewhere else. And if you live in somewhere else, but you have some people who speak Korean, you can surround yourself with people who learn Korean or who speak Korean. That is also good news. But if you have nobody, literally nobody, who speak Korean and have zero interest in learning Korean, it's gonna be a little tough. But don't get discouraged because we have the internet. For my personal experience, I was born and raised in South Korea and I started to learn English since I was in elementary school. And in middle school and high school, English subject was mandatory, so I had to study. But I literally couldn't speak just because I had nobody who spoke English. Nowadays, Korea is getting more globalized and people go there to teach English or travel. But back in the day when I was learning English, I literally had nobody. But like I told you, there is a good news. You got the internet. You can always find someone on the internet who speaks the language that you want to learn. You can do an exchange program or you can just make friends on the chat room and just try to practice the language. We're living in the time that you can actually achieve under your fingertip, so don't get discouraged. Number 5. The 5 factor is personality. How long you can learn Korean also depends on your personality. If you're the type of person who's very shy, who's not outspoken, or afraid to make mistakes, it's gonna be a little harder for you. You have to have paradigm shift in your mindset that even when you make mistakes, don't have the pre-notion that people will judge you. Because a lot of Koreans, they really appreciate when foreigners try to speak the language. So even if you make mistakes, that's totally fine. I think most of us as Korean want to help you. And also, the more mistakes you make, the faster you're gonna learn. 6 factors. Knowing languages. Do you speak any other language other than your mother tongue? If you're someone who was born and raised under multicultural society and you have to learn different languages, it's gonna be easier for you because learning languages, it's more about the mindset. If you already speak more than one language, I'm sure it's gonna be easier to learn Korean compared to somebody who speaks only one language. We've just gone through 6 different factors and let's go through how long it may actually take to achieve different levels. In the first factor, we talked about goals and levels. Let's say if you want to learn just beginner's level, only a couple phrases here and there. I think that it's likely that you can even achieve within a month. Just because I even made a video about learning Hangul in 10 minutes. I know it's really compressed information in one video. You obviously need to sit down and study. But if you just want to learn a couple phrases here and there, you can just follow Instagram because it's gonna tell you all the useful phrases that you can actually speak. But that is really basic beginner's level. What if you want to achieve intermediate level? Let's say you want to have some good comprehensive conversation. I think that you need at least 1 or 2 years. Like I mentioned, having good frequency, let's say half an hour every day, even that is still good. That becomes more than 3 hours a week. I think that you can achieve maybe intermediate level if it is like at least 1 or 2 years. But if you want to be at advanced level, having difficult conversations, I think you need at least 2+ years. I think even more than that. For my experience learning English, took me almost 15 years to be able to feel like I was understanding most of the conversation. Even now, after I moved to Canada, I speak English almost like 99% of the time. I still make mistakes and I still don't understand some of the conversation. So it really varies. I may say like 2 years plus. It really depends on you also, and also like I said, depends on the environment. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure to give it a like and share your experience in the comment down below. How long you've been learning Korean for, and what kind of materials do you find most effective? If you have any questions, also comment down below, and I see you guys next time. Bye bye.